Order. Roll call. Bruce and Rachel are absent. Everyone else is present. We have one addition to the agenda, which you saw today.
Yep, contract came in after the agenda was sent.
We have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition.
So
moved. Second.
Cheryl and Gerald second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. No public comment tonight? On to the consent agenda. Janelle?
Cheryl stopped in for bills. Is there anything you'd like to highlight, Cheryl?
No, it was pretty much all normal bills. Did take note that they're putting in more LED lights. We're doing that in phases to ease our budget just a bit.
Yep.
But it's kind of nice. I know it'll be savings over time.
It is.
That's the only thing I really noted that stood out.
Great. Beyond that, so you'll notice some hires to fill some of our coaching positions and some of our pause workers. You'll see resignation. One is we hired somebody into a food service position and then had a cook position available. So just, you'll see the same name as a resignation hire, and that happens periodically. Donations, a couple of things that I just want to call out for you. We have teachers that are active within an organization called Donors Choose. It's Donors Choose. Essentially, what it is they create projects, and their classroom projects can be sponsored by different entities across the country. And so then we get notification, and you'll notice that we had Mrs. Lura had some books donated, and Mrs. Rugemer had a whole host of items donated as well. So those come in, and then they receive the supplies directly, so they don't have to go out and buy them. They don't have to be ordered. It's kind of a nice system. So congratulations to those two individuals. And then we have a Coburn's Rewards check, which was received for $118.79. So those are the donations for this month, and I will stand for any questions on the consent agenda.
Any questions? None. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Thomas moves.
I'll second.
Cheryl seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and it passes. We move on to communication items, starting with the superintendent's report.
So last year at this time, I was reminding the community for the first time about our 2-hour late starts. And I just want to remind the community again, because our first 2-hour late start is on October 1st. So we do have professional development scheduled that day for our paraprofessionals and our certified staff. So just keep an eye out for that. I want to remind everybody that the Community Foundation Gala is coming up on Saturday. This year, our school district has is the recipient of 2 different grants. Our community education playground was awarded a $20,000 grant, and so they'll be recognizing and thanking the Community Foundation for that donation. And then our ongoing funding and grant money that comes through the program that was really established through the gala in I believe it was 2017. And it's really established a fund for some ongoing consistent support for our vocational and career and technical education programming. So both of those, I guess, departments, Community Ed will be there, and the district will be there to say thank you to the Community Foundation, because that's a lot of money that comes into our school district, so, and we're appreciative of that. Lastly, so at the board meeting in August, I shared that the School Board Association did a little switcheroo on us and made September School Board Appreciation Month. And so I do really want to just say thank you again to you as board members. As I work with you, I really do hear you asking good questions. I hear you making decisions with kids at the forefront of your decision making. And I do want to just say thank you. And I know that the time that you put in is way more than people probably recognize. And it is a thankless job sometimes. And so today I want to say thank you. So thank you, board members, appreciated. And then that would be my administrative report. The financial revenues are updated. Again, early on in the fiscal year, you're not going to see a lot happening or changing right now. So you'll see our percentages of the budget received. So this is our revenues. So this is the money coming in. And our expenditure spreadsheet is going to be similar with our what's expensed. We'll take a look at that first column as well on the second tab for August. So you'll see let me go over just a little bit further. You'll see the percent of our budget that's expended. So again, we're early in the season. We'll keep an eye on these. As there are things that are unique, I will draw those to your attention, but this is just a nice way for you to kind of track year over year how things are going in relation to one fiscal year over previous fiscal years. Any questions on those?
I suppose it's too early to tell what the unemployment was this year compared to last year.
I'll know in October.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yep. I do expect it's going to be a little bit higher, Ron, but I'll have that for you for sure. I think our payment is, I should be able to, if it's not the work session, the business session, for sure, I'll be able to let you know. Yep. Committee reports. Rick, do
Any
you want to?
committees that have met?
Yes, West Central Ed District, we did meet up at Melrose, their center up there. Had a very good meeting. They, like us, their district like us, is going through policies and procedures, getting those updated to correspond with the mandatory or mandates that have come down from the state of Minnesota as far as the education side. Still a lot of talk and a lot of hype about the sale house down here and the students that are attending. So there's 10 right now, but that's an ongoing education side that is very beneficial, of course, to those students 18 to 22 years of age to help them. I'm not sure they did not talk about where they were at in trying to have a work placement type thing here. That's one of the things that they're working within the program, so they have them work within the community. But again, it's a lot of structuring of education and all that is going to play out. So had a very good meeting up at Melrose with the West Central Ed District. And then also last night we had Ron, myself, and Bruce are on the new advisory committee, district advisory committee. So we had our first meeting for that. Jill did a great job of just kind of laying out along with her staff, Cassie and Jesse, the importance of the testing that is being done. We had the Minnesota state testing that's done once a year, but how this school district has really embraced the ongoing testing within, was it the bridge? Fast Bridge. And how that data has been looked at by the school district over a number of years. And it really tells that story of those areas of improvement to help out each student through Fast Bridge, semester and quarter of the help that they need to either bring them up to Minnesota state standards or for them to exceed. So one of the big things that Fast Bridge is looking at, do they need help to get them up to a standard, or are they exceeding that standard so they need help to continue growth in that? So I thought that was very, very important. So it's not that a person will stagnate, as far as a student will stagnate, but there are courses and stuff that can be offered to help them further grow once they have exceeded the standards. We have another meeting coming up in November once the Fast Bridge data does come in, and see where our district sits with that as far as our two schools. And it is used in both the elementary school and over the secondary school. So I think with the group that was in, it wasn't just the district people. You have people within the community, so parents, and also businesses are involved in this. Business owners are involved in this. So looking forward to that. One of the big things that Janelle had mentioned is that this stuff will all be put in to our strategic plan, which is very, very important. So we have an understanding from the district side of how we grow that, put in those start and stop times, and see that growth within this. So.
One thing I'll just maybe add is that, so this is the district advisory committee, kind of is taking the place of what used to be the world's best workforce. And it really does look at all of the plans that we have, but it also is an avenue for the board and district administration to hear from parents and community members about things that are happening. And as we look to review our strategic plan, that will be one group that is engaged along with other community members. And but really it's creating an opportunity to engage in dialogue and hear from parents. There's been a lot of conversation at the board table and administratively about how do we get parents involved and how do we hear the parent voice. And so I'm looking forward to that. So I don't know if there's anything else anybody wants to add. Continuing education did have their first meeting this week as well. So again, the continuing ed, their role is to make sure that our certified staff are relicensed, and they're the process to work through that relicensure. So that committee met as well.
We had community ed last week.
Community ed advisory.
Yep.
Yep.
Pretty standard meeting, just kind of covered all the bases of, the programming, how the programming is doing, and getting numbers from them on all those different programs we have, and then upcoming programs. Basically, it was a good look back at the summer. How did the summer go? How are current, pause programs and the current programs going right now through community ed, including the usage of the PAC, and just kind of blown away yet about, how many events are constantly taking place. The return on that building is pretty crazy. And then the prep for winter, and even just kind of talking about as deep as next summer, looking at some of the programs that we had this last summer, how they perform, what they do, and what's that look at for next summer. Because now with having three magazines coming out instead of the 4, they're gonna kind of look at that a little more deep.
Yep.
And then we also had district-wide staff development last week as well. And that was our first meeting of the school year, really, Mr. Mathiasen,
Yep.
But his first meeting kind of lead the group, did a quick review of the strategic plan, just to make sure we're all focused on that strategic plan, where the district's at. So when we start looking at those 2-hour late starts and our in-service days, they can make sure those plans are together on that. So really that was October 1st, our first 2-hour late start, kind of getting an idea of what the elementary staff is going to be going through, as well as the secondary staff, for looking at data and just kind of refresher on some of the stuff that's new for the school year. And then again, October 16th, that first half day in service, same thing, just really kind of covering what those days are going to look like, looking at the character strong for K-8, and how are we going to move that back and forth. So it's those 2 committees as well.
Geez, we've had a lot going on.
Yeah. School's back.
Yeah.
Our student representative is actually not here because she's preparing for Powder Puff, but I do have her update. So she wanted me to share that student council, they had a lot of work in the homecoming setup. So clearly this is homecoming week and they have been pretty busy. Coronation was on Monday. Powder Puff is today. They are working on the homecoming dance on Saturday night. And student council has a role in all of those events. So she wanted to share that. SAD has monthly activities at the elementary school again, and they are selling cinnamon rolls once a month in the cafeteria, and those are always a hit with the students, I'll tell you that. NHS, the couple of projects that they have is, one is that they have provided feminine products in all of the girls' bathroom. It's part of a kind of a movement called Period Poverty, and it's really making sure that kids that girls aren't in a position where they aren't able to have necessary supplies. They also really work specifically at all of the football games for concessions, which is a great fundraiser for them. So at all of our football games, stop over at the concession stand and visit the NHS members. She just wanted me to remind you that cross country had their home meet today. It was a pretty fun event. Champ was up there giving away some bling, and there were cookies and goodies for all different participants. Volleyball has a home event on Thursday. There are a number of the Booster Club is planning an event on Thursday, and for the home football game on Friday, there will be a tailgating event as well. So the events leading up to is my commentary, but she wanted me to highlight those events. So,
Okay, we'll move on to old business, which is policy. We're gonna read through everyone. No, we're not. This is the second reading, correct? So we're
Yes.
ready to approve them tonight. We've already been through them. Well, the committee has been through them extensively. You've all had a chance last meeting to talk about them. Is there any need to discuss anything tonight? Nothing's changed?
nothing has changed, and there's been no comments that have come up through the district office.
Make a motion to introduce a motion to approve 102.413.418.419. You want me to read all the numbers? 503.
You don't want to.
Okay.
Yep.
As presented.
Okay, Ron makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thomas seconds. No discussion. We've already discussed it. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Policies. New business preliminary 2024 2025 levy action.
So this is the meeting every year where we have to set the levy certification. The recommendation is really to set the maximum levy possibility. And then in December is when the final levy is certified. And so what you'll see here presented, and it's split over the pages, is a total for our entire district. Report indicates a 0.96% over the previous year. So if there are any questions, I'll stand for questions. And I also want to just draw attention. People might wonder, like, where does this information come from and what does it look like? That's why I've inserted resource number 1 for the levy report. So anybody can take a look and see all of the different components of our levy and how they all come together. It is a really, unfortunately, it's a really complex document, but I think the importance there is so that people understand there's all sorts of components that come in. When I talk about things like compensatory revenue, and it's based on student count. When we talk about things like safe schools levies, it's based on all of these things come through this document. So I wanted to show people where it comes from, but also just continue to let the board know that my recommendation is going to be to certify the maximum amount, and then that could be revisited in December.
I know that there's 39 pages of, how do I want to say, there was a lot going on.
Yeah,
But if I'm understanding that right, we're looking at roughly a 4% increase.
a 0.96% increase is what we're looking at.
Point.
So if you look up here at the top, so the preliminary levy is set to increase 0.96% over the previous year.
Okay, I thought I saw somewhere where it had a minus by it, but okay.
Well,
There is
under debt service. there
Yep,
is a-
so the general levy, community ed, so these are subcategories within the levy, debt service, and then the total is a 0.96%.
Okay.
Yeah, so you did see a negative in there, yeah. So when Steve Pumper comes in December, he walks through what our final levy amount is. And that's where a school district can never increase from what you set in September, but you can decrease. So that's why historically, you'll see districts recommend to certify the maximum. And then if there needs to be a change, there can be a change.
Make a motion, it's kind of a no-brainer. I make a motion to accept it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, it passes. On to the truth and taxation meeting action.
So as I mentioned, we are required to hold a truth and taxation meeting. So our truth and taxation meeting is, we are recommending to schedule that for December 10th. If you take a look at our calendars, that is the same day as a scheduled board meeting. December, we only have one board meeting because of the short month with holidays. So this would be at, historically, we've held it at 6 p.m. And in years past, we had a student meeting that was that same day, and we moved the student meeting, remember, to November, so that hopefully in December, we can just have the one meeting. We can do our truth and taxation for that first 20-ish minutes, and then we'll hold our business meeting immediate to follow.
We need action on that, or we just, we're?
Nope, we need a, yep, we do
Need
need
an action
action
to
and
set the
action.
time.
Yep,
So,
To leave it at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Cheryl moves,
I'll second.
Thomas seconds. Any discussion? We understand? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You set. We have some lane changes to approve.
yep, so this is twice a year, we have lane changes. What I'll just tell you for background is that all of these individuals have communicated with the district office their plan to further their education. They've met the requirements, and so my recommendation would be to approve the lane changes as presented.
I make a motion to approve the lane changes.
Second.
Motion is made by Gerald, second by Ron. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It is approved. Lead and water management plan.
So this is new, or I guess it has not been to the board for eons if it ever was, but we are required to do this through legislative action in the last couple of years. The biggest thing that I'm going to just highlight for you within here for the changes is that this is really the result of the legislature changing the acceptable parts per million of lead in drinking water. So it used to be 20 parts per billion, sorry. It is now down to 5 parts per billion. So all of our water has been tested. We have followed, and actually the state, when they said you have to do these things, they also allowed some funding for us to do it. So Ken applied for the grants to make that happen. And then with that, you get your water tested, and then it goes into the database. So they have done all of the legwork to make sure that we are in compliance with this plan. Some of the other components that are part of this is making sure that if something does not meet the standard, we shut it off and that somebody is not able to drink the water. Okay, so there are a couple of sinks that we no longer use, and some received filtering. And so Ken has done all of that legwork with the testing, the company that does all the testing. And then there's also requirements for us to, in order to, I guess, bring the water back online after extended amounts of time. And so, because in a building our age, the biggest issue is really going to be our piping, right? So that's where they've worked really hard to outline what our plan is, how to be in compliance, and make sure that we are in the right threshold. There is a plan that is posted on our website as well. That's another one of our requirements. So if you look in the actual lead and water plan, you are going to see all of this kind of spelled out within the plan, and it also tells you who to contact. You see our initial testing was done in May of 24. So it'll give you kind of the rundown if you want to take a look at the plan and where things are at. But the board action approval of the plan is one of the components of the plan. So I would
Make a motion to approve the lead in water. You're moving the screen. Management plan as presented.
Okay, Ron makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second.
Gerald seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Review upcoming meetings.
Probably the first one I just want to call to your attention is a meet and confer. I'm looking forward to doing that a little bit more regularly. Board members, I don't remember exactly off the top of my head who's part of that, but
I am.
you are, okay, so we'll be meeting multiple times this year instead of just the one time. So that's probably the biggest piece, but otherwise you'll see the work session and the regular meeting.
Okay, so that's a separate committee, right? I must not be on
You,
that.
you are not on that one.
Just checking.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Any other business? Otherwise, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Thomas moves.
Second.
Cheryl seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.